crack in your foundation is not what your contractor told you it is. I want to be precise about that statement because there is a version of it that is reckless and a version that is accurate. And the distinction between those two versions is the difference between a $2 repair and an $800 invoice. The reckless version is that foundation cracks are never serious and you should ignore them. That is not what I am saying. The accurate version is that the overwhelming majority of residential concrete cracks in foundations, driveways, basement floors, retaining walls, and garage slabs are not structural failures. They are moisture failures. And moisture failures in concrete have a $2 solution that has been documented in engineering literature since 1928, used in commercial concrete maintenance for decades, and systematically absent from every piece of residential repair guidance the construction industry has ever produced. The absence is not an oversight. A $2 solution does not generate the $400 to $1,200 per crack that the residential concrete repair market depends on. We are going to go through exactly how that market was built, exactly what it is selling you, and exactly what the $2 alternative actually does to your concrete at the chemistry level. I'm Dr. Cole Ward, 38 years as a licensed structural engineer. Concrete assessment was a consistent and substantial part of that work. Foundation evaluations, slab condition assessments, driveway and retaining wall inspections, post-storm damage reviews. I have looked at more residential concrete cracks than most people will encounter in several lifetimes of homeownership. I have also read the engineering manuals that describe what those cracks actually are and what the documented remediation approaches actually accomplish. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Engineering Manual EM 1110. 2002 on concrete and masonry ceiling cover sodium silicate treatment in detail. The American Concrete Institute Manual of Concrete Practice addresses crystalline waterproofing compounds derived from silicate chemistry. The Federal Highway Administration's Concrete Pavement Preservation Guide documents silicate-based treatment as a standard approach to pavement porosity management. None of these documents are obscure. They are the reference literature of the engineering profession. They simply do not appear in the brochure that your concrete contractor leaves on your kitchen table. Before the solution makes sense, you need to understand the mechanism, because the mechanism is the thing that the contractor's proposed repair almost never addresses. Concrete is not a solid material in the way that most homeowners visualize it. It is a porous matrix. When Portland cement cures, the hydration reaction produces a network of microscopic channels and voids throughout the hardened material. Those channels are why concrete absorbs water. They are why a concrete driveway gets darker when it rains and then dries out. They are why a basement floor can feel damp without visible standing water. The porosity of cured concrete is not a manufacturing defect. It is an inherent property of the material. In a crack, whether from shrinkage during initial cure, from thermal expansion and contraction over years of service, or from minor settlement in the substrate below, the channel network is interrupted by a visible gap. That gap is wider than the surrounding pore structure. It collects water more readily. In climates that experience freezing temperatures, collected water expands approximately 9% by volume when it transitions to ice. That expansion exerts outward pressure on the crack walls. The crack widens by a fraction of a millimeter. The ice melts. More water collects in the slightly wider crack. The next freeze cycle produces slightly more expansion because the crack is slightly wider and holds slightly more water. Over 5 to 10 years of annual freeze-thaw cycling, a hairline crack that was cosmetic when it formed becomes a crack that is visually significant and approaching the threshold where it begins to affect structural performance. The crack did not fail suddenly. It was driven open incrementally by the physics of water expanding inside a porous material. Address the porosity, and you address the mechanism. Leave the porosity intact, and you are managing a process that will continue regardless of what you fill the visible gap with. This is the critical failure of epoxy injection, the proprietary repair method that the concrete contractor industry has built a significant revenue stream around for the last 50 years. Epoxy injection fills the visible crack. It does not alter the porosity of the concrete surrounding the crack. The concrete matrix adjacent to the injection site remains as porous as it was before the repair. Water continues to infiltrate the substrate. The next freeze-thaw cycle cannot reopen the epoxy-filled crack because epoxy is rigid and strong. What it can do, and what field observation consistently documents, is propagate new cracks adjacent to the repaired section because the water that previously entered through the crack is now being forced through the surrounding pore structure under freeze expansion pressure with nowhere to go. You have not stopped the mechanism, you have redirected it. The Construction Research Communications Journal published a comparative performance study in 2003 examining concrete crack sealants under freeze-thaw cycling and found that rigid sealant systems, including epoxy, produced adjacent crack formation at a measurably higher rate than flexible or penetrating treatments under repeated thermal cycling. The contractor who returns to inject the new crack adjacent to the one he repaired 2 years ago is not doing shoddy work. He is doing exactly what the physics of his repair method predicts. Sodium silicate is a compound with the chemical formula Na2CO3. It is also called water glass, soluble glass, and liquid glass depending on the application context. It has been produced industrially since the early 19th century and was first documented as a concrete treatment compound in the 1920s. The chemistry of why it works in concrete is specific and worth understanding because it explains why it is genuinely different from surface sealers and crack fillers, rather than simply another product claiming to solve the same problem. When sodium silicate solution is applied to concrete, it penetrates the pore network by capillary action, the same mechanism that draws water into the concrete in the first place. Once inside the pore structure, it encounters calcium hydroxide, a byproduct of Portland cement hydration that is present throughout cured concrete. Sodium silicate reacts with calcium hydroxide to produce calcium silicate hydrate, the same crystalline compound that gives concrete its structural strength in the first place. The reaction fills the pore channels from the inside with a crystalline material that is chemically bonded to the surrounding cement matrix. It does not coat the surface. It does not fill a gap with a foreign material. It densifies the existing material by completing the mineralization of pore spaces that the original hydration reaction left partially open. The result is concrete that is measurably less porous, measurably more resistant to water infiltration, and no longer capable of driving crack propagation through freeze-thaw cycling because there is no longer sufficient pore volume adjacent to the crack to accumulate the water volume needed to generate expansion pressure. The Journal of Materials and Civil Engineering published a study in 2002 measuring the effect of sodium silicate treatment on concrete porosity and permeability. Treated samples showed porosity reduction of 20 to 35% compared to untreated controls, with water permeability reduction exceeding 50% in most tested specimens. The University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign Department of Civil Engineering documented in a 1998 research report that crystalline waterproofing treatments based on silicate chemistry, of which sodium silicate is the foundational compound, produced durable permeability reduction that remained effective under accelerated aging conditions equivalent to 15 to 20 years of field exposure. These are not fringe findings. They are consistent with the documented use of sodium silicate in commercial and industrial concrete maintenance for the better part of a century. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has included silicate-based concrete sealing and engineering guidance for infrastructure maintenance since at least the 1970s. The compound is not experimental. It is not novel. It is the standard penetrating concrete treatment in every application context, except the one where there is money to be made selling you something more expensive. The product you are looking for is sold under several names: sodium silicate solution, water glass, concrete densifier, penetrating concrete sealer with sodium silicate as the active compound. You will find it at concrete supply stores, agricultural supply stores, some hardware stores, and reliably online. The concentration matters. For crack treatment and general concrete densification, you want a sodium silicate solution at approximately 40% concentration. This is the standard industrial dilution, and most commercial products in this application category are sold at or near this concentration. Diluted versions marketed as driveway sealers may be 20 to 25% concentration and will require additional applications to achieve comparable penetration depth. Read the label and confirm sodium silicate or Na2CO3 as the active compound. Generic agricultural or industrial versions cost between $2 and $6 per liter. Branded concrete densifier products containing the same compound cost considerably more and perform identically at the chemistry level. For crack treatment specifically, the application sequence is straightforward, but the preparation step is the one most people skip and the one that determines whether the treatment works. Clean the crack thoroughly. Remove loose concrete, dust, debris, and any existing filler material. Use a wire brush, a vacuum, and compressed air if available. The sodium silicate needs direct contact with the concrete substrate to initiate the calcium silicate hydrate reaction. Any contamination between the solution and the concrete surface reduces penetration depth and reaction completeness. Once the crack is clean and dry, the surface should be dry even though the treatment itself is aqueous. Apply the sodium silicate solution directly into the crack using a small brush, a squeeze bottle, or a syringe for narrow cracks. Apply generously. The solution should visibly wet the crack walls and the surrounding surface for approximately 2 inches on each side of the crack. Allow the first application to penetrate for 15 to 20 minutes. Apply a second coat. The concrete will appear darker and slightly wet during this period as the solution is drawn into the pore network by capillary action. Within several hours as the solution dries, you will observe a white crystalline residue forming at the surface. This is excess silicate that did not penetrate and reacted with atmospheric carbon dioxide instead of with calcium hydroxide in the concrete. Remove this surface residue with a damp cloth before it fully hardens. It is cosmetically undesirable, but chemically inert, and its presence confirms that the penetration and reaction process occurred. For large surface areas, basement floors, driveways, garage slabs, apply sodium silicate solution with a long-handled roller or a garden sprayer using a low-pressure setting. Work in sections of approximately 100 square feet, applying 2 coats with 15 minutes between applications. Remove surface residue as described. The full crystalline densification reaction within the concrete matrix takes approximately 28 days to complete as the calcium silicate hydrate forms and cures, which is the same curing timeline as the original concrete hydration reaction. During this period, the treated surface should not be exposed to heavy traffic or abrasion if you want maximum surface hardness benefit. For crack-specific treatment where surface traffic is not a factor, the moisture barrier effect begins developing within the first 24 to 48 hours as the pore structure begins to fill. I want to be direct about what this treatment does not do because I said at the beginning that the reckless version of this advice is dangerous, and I meant it. Sodium silicate is a penetrating densifier and moisture barrier treatment. It is not a structural repair compound. If your foundation crack is showing active differential movement, meaning the two sides of the crack are at different elevations or the crack width is changing over weeks or months, that is a sign of ongoing settlement or structural loading that requires professional engineering assessment before any treatment. If your foundation crack is horizontal rather than vertical or diagonal, particularly in a basement wall, that is a potential indicator of lateral soil pressure and is categorically outside the scope of what I am describing here. If you have cracks wider than approximately a quarter inch in load bearing concrete elements, the structural competence of those elements should be evaluated by a licensed engineer before treatment decisions are made. What I am describing, sodium silicate penetrating treatment for the hairline to moderate non-structural cracks that constitute the overwhelming majority of residential concrete complaints, is supported by decades of engineering documentation and requires none of those caveats. If you are uncertain whether your crack falls into the structural concern category, the test is simple. Photograph the crack with a ruler for scale. Check it monthly for 3 months. If the width is stable and there is no differential elevation between the crack faces, you have a moisture-driven non-structural crack, and you have a $2 repair sitting on the shelf at your hardware store. The concrete contractor who quotes you $400 to $800 to repair a foundation crack will tell you that penetrating sealers are a temporary solution that does not address the underlying problem. He is using the word problem to mean the crack rather than the mechanism. The crack is a symptom. The mechanism is moisture infiltration into a porous substrate under freeze-thaw pressure. Sodium silicate addresses the mechanism. His epoxy injection addresses the symptom while leaving the mechanism intact to produce the next crack. He will tell you that for foundation applications, only structural-grade epoxy provides the necessary bond strength. For a non-structural crack, bond strength is not the performance specification that matters. Moisture impermeability is. He will tell you that his repair comes with a warranty. It does, typically for 1 to 3 years. The new crack that forms adjacent to his injection site is usually not covered under that warranty because it is technically a different crack. The $2 sodium silicate treatment has no warranty because it has no contractor. What it has is documented performance in peer-reviewed engineering literature and 80 years of industrial application history that the residential repair industry has spent 50 years hoping you would never look up. You looked it up. Share this with someone staring at a crack in their driveway or foundation right now. Subscribe if you want to know what the next $2 fix is sitting behind a 4-figure contractor bid. There are more. We are going to go through every one of them.